Brendan Haywood won a championship with the Mavericks. He works for NBA TV. Should I read into that, Brendan, that Tyrese Haliburton isn't part of the promotional aspect of Game 6?
I think you can. I'm not saying definitely for sure, but there probably is a little bit of skepticism on the Pacers side. This is their superstar. We're talking about a calf type injury. And anytime you start going to that calf type injury and trying to play through it, you have to think all the way back to what happened to Kevin Durant when he played through his. And sometimes, even though it's the NBA Finals, even though it's a huge moment, you have to think big picture. And if this is a serious calf injury, you do not want a calf injury to turn into something a lot more serious. I'm not 100% sure, but there's definitely conversations being had right now about Tyrese Haliburton's health because he did not look right in Game 5.
Could you see a scenario where he doesn't play tonight?
Yes. If he goes out there and he tests the calf and he can't move well, then you have to shut him down. No matter how big the game is. Even if we go back to what happened earlier in these playoffs, I'm sure Steph Curry wanted to play. It's grade 1.5 hamstring injury. You have to protect the player sometimes from himself, and you have to think about long term of what could happen if you come back and you're not right and you do more damage to a soft tissue injury.
Could it be a good thing for the Pacers if he doesn't play?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They need Tyrese Haliburton, man. They need him healthy too, not just out there with his jersey on. They need him out there creating a problem, pushing tempo, getting in the pick and roll, getting downhill, getting 2 feet in the paint. He doesn't always have to score it, but he has to be a part of the problem. And if he's not right or not able to play, it's going to be really tough. Just look at what this OKC team has done defensively as far as turning the Pacers over. Think about how many turnovers they'll force if Tyrese Haliburton doesn't play.
Yeah, but if I have T.J. McConnell out there handling the ball, then I keep it away from Nembhard and Nesmith because they were a turnover. They were turning the ball over there, and I wonder. I don't want him out there if he's 50 or 60%. I don't want you to be a hero and he was a detriment to the team in the second half of that last game. I was surprised that Rick Carlisle put him out there. You're down double digits at halftime.
Well, you also have to understand guys get used to certain things. And you look at a guy like Nembhard, Nesmith, more importantly, TJ McConnell, you just brought him up. He's used to playing a certain amount of minutes. He plays with a certain level of energy. He's always pushing and probing. He's not used to playing 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And so he's exhausted. After that third quarter, he's tired. So now it's like, okay, we're trying to get Haliburton in. Maybe we'll get McConnell back in the game. But the problem with Haliburton not playing is that it puts everybody in a different role. So now you look at a guy like TJ McConnell, instead of him being the energy guy, now he has to come in and start right away. Now who's going to be the point guard behind him? Now we're getting even deeper into that Pacers bench, and that's where the problem is. But I do agree with you. If Haliburton is 50%, he probably shouldn't go out there because he probably can't help the team.
Who does SGA remind you of?
He not apples for apples, but if you look at what he does in the mid-range, a lot of times he has the footwork of Kobe. I'm not saying he's Kobe. I don't want nobody on Twitter coming for me. I know how sensitive people get about their stars from back in the day. But when you look at the footwork, the up and unders, the pump fakes, and everything else, he reminds me of Kobe, and he lives in that mid-range like a Kobe. Kobe wasn't really a great three-point shooter if you look at the numbers, but man, what he did in the mid-range was special, and that's kind of what SGA reminds me of, but a new school version because he's like a point guard as well.
Iman Shumpert was with us yesterday, and he said Kobe as well.
I mean, it's easy to see. I mean, there's some video out there of the footwork side by side, and you're like, wow, it's scary. You can tell that he studied Kobe Bryant. He watched a lot of what Kobe does, and he's just perfected that mid-range game. Shout out to Sam Cassell, who actually started him down that path his rookie year when he was with the Clippers, and Sam was one of the best mid-range guys from back in the day. And SGA has always worked on his mid-range game ever since Sam Cassell put him in that space, and it's really, really showing today.
So you played with LeBron, played with
Yep.
Michael, played against Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How would you assess those players?
All great players. Kobe and Michael are one and the same. As far as game, mentality, everything else. LeBron is a different entity. Not better, not worse, but his thought process and how he sees the game is different. Kobe and Michael, carbon copies. LeBron is different, and even how from the way he plays the game, the way he sees the game, the way he goes about things on and off the court. Michael and Kobe are cutthroat. If you can't help Michael Jordan win, he really ain't got no time for you. I'm trying to tell you, I saw that firsthand. If you can't help Michael Jordan win basketball games, he don't have any time for you, and he will say it directly to your face. LeBron James is a little bit more diplomatic. He might send you a subtle message. He might try to see if you'll slowly pick it up. And I got to see that firsthand with him and Kyrie Irving and Deion Waiters, and he was trying to coach them to see if they would eventually figure out how to win at this level. Mike's not that type.
But we keep trying to make that comparison or that argument, and it's Michael, it's LeBron. Can you make a case that Kobe is every bit the equal that Michael is, and then maybe he should be involved in that discussion as well?
Oof, man, see, Dan, you're gonna get me in trouble, man. You know how sensitive people are about their guys. I love Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. One of the best players that I ever played against. But when you start nitpicking the stars, you probably can't put Kobe in the same level as Michael and LeBron. When you look at the total MVPs, when you look at when you look at the finals, you have to go look at some of Kobe's early finals performances against the Nets. That wasn't really great. He had big fella with him early on in his career. I mean, that counts for a lot when you got the big dog in there. Shaq was the MVP of the first three finals. So I love Kobe. He is top 10 for sure. But I think when you talk about the best three players of all time, it's actually not. It's Mike, Bron, and Kareem, in my opinion.
Yeah, Kareem might be the greatest player of all time. If I factor in high school, college, and the NBA, he might be the greatest player. Single-handedly had a move that was unstoppable.
Right.
And he won everywhere that he went. And I kind of find him underrated, Brendan. It's weird to say that we kind of forget because Kareem won a title, and it really wasn't, when Larry and Magic came in, that's when TV started. And then Mike came in and, it just changed the NBA. Those who played prior to that, some of those championships and their greatness was lost.
Yeah, like I said, Kareem, he has a championship in Milwaukee. Then, like you talked about, Magic and Larry took the game to another level. And then you also have to look at the fact that Kareem wasn't loved by the media. So he never got the same push, and so it's different now. There was no internet. There was no Twitter or anything else. Like that media had to push you to a certain degree, and Kareem didn't have that love. So he didn't get pushed quite like some of the other stars back in the day. Yeah, but don't get it twisted. Like you said,
that's a great point.
Was unstoppable.
Yeah, that's a great point that Kareem didn't care if you liked him. And he didn't go out of his way to curry favor. We're talking to Brendan Haywood. He's working for NBA TV. You were a teammate of Dirk Nowitzki, his 47th birthday today.
Oh, man, happy birthday, Dirk. I know. Hey, Dirk getting old, man. I know that was his birthday today.
What's your favorite Dirk Nowitzki story?
My favorite Dirk story.
And how many knees did you take to your chest when you were trying to guard him with that fadeaway jumper of his?
I never really, you know what? He never really had to knee me in the chest. He used to just get in my body and fade away. And it used to just frustrate me that he would get that jumper off on me. But I think my favorite Dirk story is we're in the NBA finals. It's before the finals. And because it's my favorite story because it's not really who Dirk is. He has that quiet confidence, but the way he said it made me look at him like, okay, big fella's really with the smoke. And we're taking on the big three, and we're talking about the game. We're in the locker room. We're talking about the matchup. We're going against the Heatles, obviously, LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh. And we're like, yeah, what we're going to do to stop the big three? And he's just like, that ain't no big three. And we kind of look at him. We're like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't look at it like that. If they were really a big three in the offseason, they would have came and got me. And I was like, okay. Because Dirk don't talk like that. So Like, and he really meant it. And at that time, I didn't know he kind of had like a simmering beef with D Wade from '06. And the guys kind of caught me up on it. Like, yeah, he don't really have no love for D Wade. And so, like, to see Dirk in that space and then to go out there and do what he did in the finals, man, that's my favorite Dirk story, because him talking like that is out of character for him. And I like him in that space.
What's it like when you're behind Shaq and somebody lobs it in and you know that he's going to get the ball and then he's going to turn right into your chest?
It is the worst. Like, it's the worst feeling in the world guarding prime Shaq. Prime Shaq. I mean, Dan, I because when I first got into the league, Shaq was in LA and then in Miami. I never had fun in those cities because I never went out. For the first, guys like, yo, we going out tonight? I'm like, I'll see y'all. I got a little something to deal with tomorrow. I can't go out. I will be in bed at 9 o'clock, because you have to be ready for Shaq. You have to try to beat him down the court, beat him to space. But to answer your question, if he catches the ball in the paint with 2 feet and you're behind him, you better wrap him up, because big fella back in the day was an absolute problem. He was going to dunk that thing. And the good thing for me is when I first got into the league, I played with MJ. So in those games, Kobe would always be trying to prove a point to MJ. So Shaq wasn't even getting the ball as much then, because Kobe was trying to go off. Like, and so I was like, whew, at least it's not my guy. You know, I think he hit us for like 40 in like a half in LA one time. So it was crazy. He was trying to let Mike know that he's the next one. So a lot of times Shaq didn't even get the ball sometimes early on in my career.
So Kobe's going at Mike when Mike is at the end of his career with the Wizards?
Yeah, actually, Stackhouse is guarding Kobe. And I love Stack, but there was nothing he could do with Kobe that night. I mean, it was just, he was on one, because you could tell he's playing against Mike and he wants to let Mike know, in almost kind of like how Ant-Man wanted to let Kevin Durant know what was up last year. That's how it was. But it's just, we're watching it and we just can't believe this dude is going. Jerry Stackhouse is playing excellent defense. Kobe is just in one of those zones. Nothing Stack can do with him. And Kobe, I want to say he dropped 4. If it's not 40, it was 35, but between 35 and 40 and a half on us.
What's the best performance you ever witnessed?
Carmelo Anthony, 60 points when I played for the Charlotte Hornets. Carmelo.
Did you guard him?
Oh no, Michael Gilchrist. Oh, you know what? I'm tripping. Tracy McGrady. I forgot Tracy McGrady had. I think what was Tracy? It's either Carmelo or Tracy. Tracy had 60 plus on us too. And Carmelo, and that was when Tracy was in Orlando, and Carmelo had 60 on us when in the Garden. I would probably say Carmelo's, because it was all mid-range jumpers, and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist got probably about 40 of those. And so when Carmelo gets hot, there's nothing. It's all jab series, jabs, pump fakes, step through, spin moves. When Carmelo has 60, it's a loud 60, because it's all one-on-one ISO. Nobody's creating any shots for him. He is getting it all out the mud, and it is a long night.
We've had Jalen Rose on whenever it's, the 81-point anniversary with Kobe. And so we call him all the time. And he says, I didn't guard him the whole game. He goes, people make it seem like Kobe got 81 on me when they were playing Toronto.
Yeah, listen, you might not have guarded him the whole game, but if somebody drops 80, and like, let's just say 25 to 30 of them were on you, people are going to act like the whole 81 was on you. It's kind of like when I'm talking about Carmelo, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist didn't get the whole 60, but he had to get about 30 or 40 of them. And 30 to 40 out of 60, it just feels like a long night. I'm still trying to figure out why we didn't start doubling and triple teaming him, but it is what it is.
Still bothers you. Hey, great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us, Brendan.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, Brendan Haywood. He won a title with the Mavs, a former first-round pick by the Cavs. You play with Michael, you play with LeBron, you play against those other guys. I never understand that, though. When a guy is going off, and he's right about Carmelo, how about we take the ball out of his hands? Once again, I didn't like playing defense, couldn't play defense, but I did understand defense. And part of it is I don't want the best guy to beat me. That guy is, now, if you can handle the ball like Kobe could, you're going to get, and Mike, you could get your shots. Tracy McGrady. Carmelo wasn't a great ball handler. He was just had unbelievable, he had moves in a phone booth They were small little moves, and all he needed was just like a sliver of daylight, and he was going to hit that mid-range jumper. You got to work hard to get 60 in the mid-range game because T-Mac was going up and down the floor.